Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the show. Today I'm going to ask all of you for a big fat thumbs up. If you can do that for me, that'll be very helpful for the show. It'll continue expanding out there, into new horizons, making new connections out there. So don't forget to give us a fat thumbs up. And don't forget, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You won't regret it. You won't regret, being in this channel, because we like to talk the truth and what's happening out there. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are still following, gold prices and all that good stuff, listen. If you see gold prices, going like that, that's nothing. That is just a normal thing that is going on before it shoots to the next level. Before it shoots to 3,800 and 38 and change, and then before you know, it's gonna hit the $4,000 mark. So don't let that scare you, and just if you just are interested in gold, keep on monitoring it, like I am. But I also want to talk to you about gold with another subject. But if you are looking into gold, don't let that get you a little bit nervous when it goes like that. When it goes like that, it's nothing big. It's just ready to jump to the next one, and to the next one. Many things are happening out there in the world, and things are not right. Things are just not right. Okay, so don't worry about that. And you have silver is still climbing up as well, but platinum and even palladium and rhodium. So just keep on doing your song and dance. The things are looking good. I'm sorry I left my glasses in one of those bus. And I have to pick it up later on, so I don't have it right now. So I have to get closer to see when you guys write something. I also wanted to ask you a question to all of you. I need your help. I need your help from you guys. And I want to know if you believe that Rolex, the Rolex brand is holds its money better than gold. You know, yeah, I need your help. I want to know what you think. If gold it's a better buy than buying a Rolex watch, not an AP, not a Vacheron, not a Patek, not a Richard Mille, not a Brigade, and so on and so on. Rolex and gold. What do you think is a better investment, or should I say, what do you think is gonna hold more for sure than money? An ounce of gold, or or um, or a Rolex watch. It doesn't matter what Rolex watch. I want to know what you guys think. Gold, okay, that's good. That's what I want to see. Gold. Nelson, I believe this is Nelson from New York, New Jersey, I believe. He's saying gold, and okay, that's good. Oh, okay, consumer goods. All right, because there's a subject going on right now. And I don't know if you guys know this. They're talking a lot about gold with wow, okay, gold, there it is. So some people really kind of say, okay. Some people right now, some big people are putting Rolex and gold in the same, comparing it to which one is better to have, or gold, an ounce of gold, or a Rolex watch. And we're seeing gold right now at a price of, I don't know, $3,700 a troy ounce, and that's what I believe it is. I haven't been really following it closely, but I believe it's that price. And then you have Rolex watches. They cost $10,000, $15,000, and so on and so on. So okay, gold is king. Wow, gold is king. And let me tell you, I take to heart. Okay, the best of both worlds by Mr. Damon, but Mr. Donut said, gold is king. So it's something that in God we trust. All right. All right. So wow, you guys are pretty, yeah, you guys are pretty much you guys are saying that gold is king. That's what you guys are saying, and there's a lot of people right now out there that they're talking about it, and people that I know are, are betting, like they say, what should I buy? A Rolex, Submariner, or should I buy a couple of ounces of gold? And they're saying, they're telling me out there that gold is the way to go. And this is the reason I'm asking for your help, because I want to know, if you guys feel the same way. And they're talking about that. They're saying that, gold right now is it's a safer bet than a Rolex watch, And I'm just talking about a Rolex watch. I don't, so it's something that I wanted to hear from you guys, because you guys, I really believe that you guys know, know a lot about this subject, about gold and Rolex watches. So pretty much, I think I have your answer, and that's good. Thank you for that. Also, I want to tell all of you that that there's I'm saying this because I got to keep on reminding all of you that when I say that the watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down and smelly, I tell you that always, and I mean it. And you have Switzerland or watches, Switzerland people, over there, that big company, that has a lot of different umbrellas of watch brands, a lot of umbrellas under their company, that's Switzerland or something, over there in Switzerland, those watch people, and you're not gonna believe this, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys, thank you. There you go. Thank you very much. I got to be very careful the way I talk to you guys, because suddenly we'll start getting, suddenly like Mr. Donor and Damon say, I start getting, thunder lightning in my TV tower, and it goes out of whack, so I have to be careful. I need your guys to help me out with the words that I want to use, so I don't have to use them, You understand me what I'm saying? Okay. So that company, ladies and gentlemen, this is scary, and they won't tell you this, but I will, because I'm stupid like that. If some of you belong to a private watch group, somebody, I tell you, you can put down, you can put whatever you want in our watch group, and it as long as not no foul language, not no, not nice things, put it there, And somebody, this is something I already knew, but somebody put it there, and I said, go ahead, let everybody see it. And that company over there, that company, 36% down, down, so, and they're telling you that the watch market is up and running. And ladies and gentlemen, when you see those monsters, that everything is, just collapsing, things are not, exactly. Thank you very much, Damon. Thank you very much, Mr. Donor. I'm trying to keep it simple. You know what I'm trying to say. And so, at 36, does anybody know what I'm talking about? And if you don't, if you do, please write it down so I don't have to repeat myself. Thunder lightning, everything goes ice cold. So that company over there is like, the stocks on that company is just por el piso, through the floor. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Put it up there so they can see it. You know what I'm trying to say. Put it up there. Mr. Donut, Mr. Damon, put it up there, It's just unbelievable what's happening. And it's really bothersome, it really bothers that I'm telling you that the situation with the watch industry is kaput, it's kaput. Thank you very much, Damon. Thank you. And it's esto está jodido, brother. I don't care what they say to you guys. You guys have to understand that when you hear that, and then you hear all these channels that were flim-flamming you and fleecing you, flim-flamming you. They're not making no more watch content because there's no more any content, any BS content of them selling watches, with amounts of shekels and pounds and all that. That's over. There's nobody out there. From the ones that Papi, those guys are quiet, real quiet. But I have to tell you that we have new ones coming in. New watch dealers are attacking you guys now. New ones. The situation is not good, Mr. Donor. The situation is not good. But you have now some new ones coming in, new faces, because that's what happens in business. When people get tired of those faces of the walruses, the boxing black eyes, the hippos, Big Pun, Heavy D, the two toddler body brothers, they need new fresh faces to continue, trying to get you. And there's nobody. Everybody is, Baba. We've done a research, and people that they were monsters. The monsters out there making content. They're just nothing. Not even making you a little live update on the show, the show in Miami. New kids on the block. Thank you very much. Very well said, boss. Very well said. New kids on the block, new faces, and talking all this wishy-washy stuff, because the ones that have this unbelievable overhead don't have it no more. They don't have it no more. You got this gentleman that right now, he's the only one that I see that's doing something, and I'm talking about the 47th Street subway train jumper. The guy that looks at the subway train jumper from the movie Ghost. You know what I'm trying to say. He jumps from train to train. And with Patrick Swayze and Woolberg. Whoopi. I don't know whatever her name. So that guy is making a lot of content, and he's saying there, in his situation, to dress it up like a, Ken and Barbie. He tries to dress it up. He says at the end, la situación está, you know, exactly. You know what I'm trying to say. Goldberg, está la situación jodida, and they are exactly that guy. Thank you very much, Doc Mick from Florida. Thank you very much. These people, they have become crumb bums. They have become sandbags, cow tippers, possum kickers, tomato cans, window lickers. There's no more. They cannot continue hoodwinking you. There's no more hoodwinking out there. The hoodwinking is over, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, I have to give a lot of credit to Kino. Kino's the one that stirred this whole situation. This is why Kino could never show his face, because if they know who's doing this, they will not forgive him, because Sweet Kino knows all those people. Just to let you all know this, and this is not no BS. I get all my information from Sweet Kid Kino, and he's telling me this is bad out there for these people, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you something, because maybe you guys don't appreciate that, and that's fine that you don't appreciate that. But Kino has saved many, tomato cans out there, from throwing away their 401k, their children's dental insurance money. Kino has done many things. Kino to me, Joaquin to you. He's done unbelievable. He's have saved many people. They told me always, hey, Kino has really saved me a lot of shekels. I don't know what that means, shekels, and maybe Mr. Donor or Damon could explain to me what shekels mean, But he's really, and this is square business, ladies and gentlemen. Kino has save you guys a lot of money, man. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of people out there that they will just give their money away like it's a joke. They'll give it away, because they're Michiganers. They're Michiganers. I know what I'm trying to tell you. Thank you, Damon. Thank you very much. And so you have to, ladies and gentlemen, somehow, some way, you have to, because let me explain to you, Kino sees every message you put out there. And he likes to hear his name, Joaquin. He likes to hear it. So just to let you know that the situation over there, the Swatch, the Swatch people, over there, those people, está jodida la situación. Don't let these people tell you that the watch industry is up and running. I'm going to tell you something else. There's a lot of people and that are sending me messages, and they're telling me they're getting phone calls. If you're one of these people, listen up. That they're getting phone calls for a Submariner, right? They're getting for a Submariner, stainless steel with a black ceramic bezel and a black dial. I spoke to you guys about this, but I have to tell you again so you know what's going on. And most of the people, they're getting a call for this watch. With this watch is a beast to get if you get the phone call. And some people have made a mistake and they have passed over on that watch. And that's the watch to get. That's right, you're hearing it from me. I'm talking about a Rolex stainless steel, black ceramic bezel, black dial, no date. Remember that, no date. The heavy collector, that's the watch they want. I don't know if you guys remember, but some time back, Rolex made the Submariner book, a big textbook, it's unbelievable, fat book of all the Submariners. And it tells you there all the amounts of watches they make, in the year, whatever they make, And if you don't know this, well, you need to know this and put it away in your arsenal so you know what's going on. The Rolex no date is the one they make the least. It's the one they make the least. And if anybody wants to correct me, please correct me on that. I don't have a problem being corrected, and I don't have a problem when you disagree with me. Yes, it's nice to get a Submariner with a date. That's beautiful and all that. But I'm talking about in the collector's world, and basically, you're buying that watch for $9,500. The no date. Thank you. 100% true. Coño, I don't have to say no more. Unicorns. Look at this grande saying unicorns. So, I try to tell you things, so you know what's going on. These people will never tell you this, but I will. If you're gonna buy that watch, fully wrapped up, fully wrapped up. If you're gonna buy that watch fully wrapped up, and you pay for it $9,500, they're gonna ask you for that watch, a new one, fully wrapped up in plastic. They're gonna ask you 13 G's. Exactly. Comics, dials, exactly. These watches are holding. And I'm gonna show you something. I don't practice doing this. But I don't like to talk, out of my rear end. When I talk to you guys, I drop, what I have. I drop the best of me, and I tell you. This right here, what I'm gonna show you, this right here, this is an unbelievable box. This is a green box, the green box, unbelievable, the green box. And I told you that I was gonna get this watch before I left in my trip. I told you I was gonna get this watch. This is the new. When you want to get this, you want to get the green box. No sketch, no sketch, because I don't do this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm gonna talk to you. And please, there's people that like to do that and show what they have and show the watches of their collection. I don't do that, yo soy un viejito. I'm an old man, I'm a little old man. And we're old people, we don't want to get smacked around and hit you in the head and take your watches off and lose your, I don't like that unboxing thing. But since I've been talking, exactly, thank you very much, Doc Mike from Florida. I don't like to do a lot of that unboxing. I leave it to those people. But in this case, I'm gonna show you this watch because it's the watch that I've been telling you. Hey, listen, if you get this phone call from that watch, don't say no. If it doesn't have a date, I don't want it. You just gave something away. Something. Because there's not much no more around there, and Rolex watches. Unless you're looking for a Daytona, you get a Daytona. It's a different story. But this watch right here is moving on up. Like the Jeffersons moving on up because it's a watch that they don't make. If you look into that, does anybody know about the book that I'm talking about, or the Submariner book that I'm talking about? Money in the Box. Money in the Box. You know what I'm talking about? There's a big book that came out. No date sub. Correct. The no date sub is the watch to get. Ya te lo dije ya. The no date sub. If you want to be like, coño, you wear that monster in your hand. You're not wearing the one with the little window and the little microscope, to see the date. No. It's this watch right here. I'm going to take off the box. I want you to fall down. It's unbelievable, these people, A friend of mine, he told me he had it for me and he gave it to me, He said, I got it for you because you wanted it always. And, these people over there, they save it for all those people, There it is. This is the watch. Everything is there. As you can see, a brand new watch. I just got it, To be honest, my wife was the one that gave it to me. My sweet wife, she loves me and I love her. And I wanted to get it, so I got it. And she gave it to me. And so I show you this. This is my way of unboxing, Rolex watch, and it's unbelievable. Has this beautiful, new green card. It's unbelievable, and you're not gonna believe this, but so when I got it, I'll show you the date. I don't play around. I don't play around, Papi. I don't play around. I can't be showing you all my watches because I said again, I don't want to get clobbered. I don't want to get clobbered. And you saw what happened to that good friend of ours over there that he was talking over there in Utah. Was it Utah? And where I'm at, I haven't been able to get a lot of news, but things are not right out there, Things are not right, and so, I got this watch, because this is what I'm trying to tell you, you need to get this kind of stuff, This kind of stuff. So there it is. That's my unboxing for you guys, This is my unboxing for you guys. I don't want people, they ask me, so how many watches you have? If I tell, before, I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this, but if you are a older subscriber to this channel, before I would, it's ignorant, being ignorant, I don't do that no more. But before, I would put in my videos, and I would put a mountain of boxes of Rolex watches, that I have. And people were asking me too much, and that got me kind of, gracias, manito, gracias, thank you, gracias, papá, gracias. And I get happy when you guys get a piece. I'm the first one to celebrate you guys, and I get happy for you guys. And so I don't do that no more. I don't even put no more stock of boxes because la mente, the mind is, you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, Doc. And está cabrón. I'm telling you, if you get a phone call for a Rolex stainless steel Submariner, no date, papi, that's the watch to get. And people are saying, "No, I want the one with the date," and I'm saying, "Oh my God." And I said, "You got that watch?" "Yeah, I got a phone call," and I let it go, and I let it go. You know what I'm trying to say, and I give you guys love for free, man. It's for free, I'm a man. I'm a man that I have a lot of worries in my life, personal things in my life, family, children, grandkids, business, So when I do this, I blow smoke, I blow a lot. No date, correct? It's a no date. That's what it is, a no date. I don't, and I have Submariners they have date. But if you ask me now, what is your baby? This is my baby right here. This one right here. This is my baby. This one I will wear with anything. You know, to me, this watch, you're gonna say, "Coño Juan, you can't say that." I could. I have it. I'm comparing this to a Daytona. That's how I feel about it. You know, I feel like when I wear this watch, I'm like James Bond. Which is the one that would wear that? Sean Connery. The guy that I think he was one of the first one, or maybe the original one. He had that one, though, no date. No date. And I remember that watch, and I said it, and unto the person that got me the watch. He says to me, he tells me, I want you to know that this is a watch that the big ones want to get, and they're hard to come by. So please do not deny that watch. Usted cómpralo, and your money is there. Your money is there. You have some meat left on the bone. Okay? So no sean pendejo. When they, it's a real collector, watch collector. It's a real one, Papa. And if anybody knows, the production of the no date is like, I don't want to say it's a limited edition piece, because it's not, but it's a watch that they don't produce a lot. They don't produce it. It's for Jacques Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau, the submarine guy, the old man that he would go down there, to look for, I don't know, he was down 0072, all those people. So there it is, guys. Don't let that watch go by. You get a phone call, and don't let it go, because even if you don't want it and you buy it, I'm safe to tell you. You got safely from one end to the other, you have $2,500 to go to Disney World, to do something. So, no sean pendejo. Then I'm gonna tell you this, because this watch is creeping up. It's creeping up. Some people are using the watch for 6-7 months, and then they're flipping it for $12,500. But the way these people want this watch, they want it all wrapped up, with plastic and hologram, tags, and don't you know what I'm saying, Pete? You know me, Papi. I try to guide you guys in the right direction. What these lambones won't do for you, I will. Thurston Howell III, thank you very much for that super chat. Thank you very much. You are a gentleman. I can't give you the heart, but thank you so much. All right, I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Let me explain to you something. When I see 50 cents, all right, 50 cents. If I'm worth 50 cents, that's good for me. I get happy, because that's telling me that you guys appreciate this live stream. I'm telling you, there's nobody out there that's making content. There's nobody. There's from all those people that you were watching, probably there's no more. You could fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. La situación está jodida, and we gotta be smart, because the world right now is upside down. I've been away with my wife. Thank you very much again to you as well, Pete. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. I'm telling you, 50 cents will make me happy. How's that? Because it's telling me, coño, they appreciate, what I'm telling them. They're taking it to heart, No sean pendejo. No sean pendejo, no sean bobo. I'm gonna tell you something else. If you're buying, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of watches quickly. If you're looking at these GMT watches and you're thinking that you have some kind of money left on the bone on these watches, I'm going to tell you, be very careful. One of them is the which I think is a beautiful watch, and I'm not a two-tone person, but it's the Rolex GMT Root Beer. I believe that watch is somewhere in the $18,500. So if you want to buy that watch because you want to, thank you very much, Damon. Thank you very much for that. I all of you, thank you so much. I hope you guys didn't take it the wrong way. I'm saying that it makes me happy. That means that I believe that you guys appreciate what I'm doing, you know? And I need to know because I don't want to keep on blowing smoke up my rear end, you know, and I don't want that. You know, I want to know, hey, they're in tune. They're in tune, and that's good. But if you're looking at the root beer, going back to the root beer, be careful. You know, if you want to have that watch because you want to rock it and, you know, and have it, listen, if you buy it and you're going to flip it to one of those hoodwinkers, you know, one of those flim flammers, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose money, okay? You're going to lose money. And the other one that I'm going to tell you is the also the Rolex GMT Sprite Oyster bracelet. If you get a phone call for that watch, you know there's some money left in the bone in that watch, but not a whole lot. And it's getting more difficult and more difficult to, for some reason, you know, I don't know what's going on. You know, I will know what's going on, but be careful, right? Be careful with those watches because something is, you know, not right with the GMT Sprite. I think it's a beautiful watch. I think it's a beautiful watch. And if you get a phone call for that watch, if you get a phone, saludos Aquiles. If you get a phone call for that watch and it's beautiful and you want it for yourself, I'll be the first to tell you, hey man, get that watch. You know, get that watch. And if you tell me about the Rolex root beer and you like it for yourself, and you don't want to, like, you know, you don't want your watch to keep on dropping in prices, then I'm going to tell you, be careful because that watch is dropping in prices. And if you're going to sell it again, you want to get watches that they still hold, you know, they're still there. You don't want to get these, you know, it's a sweet watch. I'm telling you, it's a sweet watch. If you know, most of the people probably are 28 organic subscribers. You know, we buy watches because we want them for ourselves, maybe us, but there's a lot of people out there, you know, gents, that they buy watches, you know, because they want the watch. They get tired, they can flip it and make a couple of G's after they use it for a couple of years. So, but there's some watches out there that you got to be very careful. I asked all of you in the beginning of the show, again, to the ones who just got here, what do you think is safer right now? Because they're comparing these two things, I don't know if it's called commodity or what do you call them? They're saying that gold and Rolex, they're comparing these two to see who holds the value more, if gold or a Rolex. And I want to tell you, before you say anything, most of the people that were here earlier, they all said this word. They said that gold is king, you know, because they're saying that, the crown. They're saying that the king of watches, you know, exactly, Pete. There you go. And there's no way in the world that, you know, you can compare a Rolex watch. And let me tell you, gentlemen, so you know this, they're not talking about Patek Philippe. They're not in this same sentence. They're not talking about Patek Philippe. They're not talking about AP. They're not talking about Bacheron. They're talking about Rolex and gold, you know? And I said, there's no way in the world that Rolex, you know, could be a better, you know, a better commodity than gold, you know, Rolex. I mean, is Rolex a commodity or it's not? I don't think it's a commodity, right? It's not. Maybe you guys can help me out because you guys are very bright, you know? I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, no, there it is. No, there you go. Thank you, Nelson. But gold is a commodity. Is that correct? Gold is. But gold is a commodity. Yes, yeah, I'm telling you. Yes, thank you. That's what I'm saying. Gold is a commodity and Rolex is a luxury. Come on, how are you gonna tell me that gold, that Rolex is, you know? And I'm gonna keep on telling you, if you guys are getting nervous with gold, that you're seeing it going like that, you know, like that. But it's up there. It's at 3,700, you know, 36, you know, I don't know, 3670, whatever it is there. It's ready to take another leap, you know, how do you say that? Leapfrog jump, you know, a leapfrog jump to 38. And it's gonna go to saludo, Mr. Blair, saludo. So, you know, I'm trying to give you all this. I was telling everybody earlier, Mr. Blair, that the watch to look into, that not abandon it, is the Rolex Submariner, stainless steel, black dial, black ceramic bezel, no date. You know, if they call you for that watch, you say, I'll be right down to pick it up. Manada, I'm gonna go pick it up right now. You know, that's it. And if you don't want it, you got $2,500 from one hand to the other. Here, take it. You know, so just to let you guys know what's going on. I also want to give you now a watch market update. I think we've been talking, you know, pretty much for a while already. And I also told you about somebody said the Swatch, you know, the company, that Swatch people from over there, from Geneva, you know, those people, they have many different watch brands under their umbrella. Ladies and gentlemen, it's dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. The watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down like this. It's dead. It's dead. You tell them that. If you tell them this only, listen, man, don't tell me that the watch market is up and running. You know, that company over there, I don't know, Damon told me the name before. Somebody told me the name. Mr. Donald, tell me the name again, please. Tell me the name so they can see the name what I'm talking about. Listen, 36% went down. Down. El 36%, papi, 36%. You know, jodido, brother, jodido, 36%. There you go, right there. Look at what he wrote down, Mr. Damon. Look what he wrote down. You see what he wrote down. That's it, because, you know, I can't say names because I'll get a thunder lightning in my tower TV and it'll go away, you know. So thank you very much. You know, I want you guys to know that. So you know what's going on. La situación está mala, papi. No hay billete, no hay pasta, no hay chelo, no hay shekels. You know, shekels, Mr. Blair, show me the way. Shekels, you know, and pounds and euros and all that good stuff. No, there's no more money. No sean pendejo, brother. No sean pendejo. Don't give it away, man. Don't give it away. Be smart. You know, be smart. No sean pendejo. No sean pendejo. Listen to me. I told you today, and I have always told you, I don't do none of those unboxing watches. I'm even learning about that unboxing. I even get embarrassed when I did that today. You know, I get embarrassed. I'm gonna be honest. I get embarrassed. But I did that today to show you what I was telling you of the watch that I was gonna get, you know, while I was out of my country, you know, and I got it, you know. No sean pendejo. Don't listen to these people. There's nobody out there making any content. The people that you have making content now are doing a crossover. You know, they're being now analytics of the watch industry, you know, of what's happening in the watch industry, the way prices keep on going down. I've been telling you this shit for the last 3 years, you know, but that's it. At the beginning, you could, excuse my French, you know, I don't think shit is a bad word. I hope I don't get a thunder lightning, you know, but I've been telling you for 3 years. But, and, you know, it's pretty hard, you know, people don't. A la orden, gracias, David. Gracias, papá. Te felicito, mijo, que aprenda mucho. We have a new subscriber here, I believe, or a new watcher that he's telling me that he's listening and he's learning. He told me that in Spanish, so I'm happy to hear that, you know. These people had a way with you, you know. You have this person over there, you know, feet happy, you know, just bringing in celebrities of this, papi. No hay forma de levantar un muerto. There's no way you can lift up a dead body. You cannot lift up a body. Let me tell you something, because I want to just give you an example. You know, let me see if I see it here, because this is just out of control. I have it here. There's a watch here which I have a lot of respect for. It's a Patek Philippe Complications. Listen and learn. This is a price mark that is, you know, this is to buy a condominium in the front of the ocean, but so you understand where this is going. This is the Patek Complications Rose Gold 5270 Perpetual Calendar Chronograph, 41 millimeter Retail price of this watch, Papi, this is a monster watch. You know, this is a monster watch. And this watch, when it was first released, you know, this is an unbelievable time machine. This watch was over the retail price. This is all rose gold, beautiful bracelet, casing, chronograph, perpetual calendar, all that, you know, all that sketch, you know. And ladies and gentlemen, the retail price of this watch is $287,650. 287,650, ladies and gentlemen. And these watches that they're selling out there, man, they're practically brand new. You know, they come with all the bells and whistles. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm like that, you know, I gotta tell you the truth. You know, and this is a watch, Papi. This is, you know, when you start seeing these numbers, maybe you and me can buy that. Maybe I can buy it. Maybe you can buy it. But when you start seeing these numbers, you go, oof, what's going on here? Don't pay for that watch, and don't pay more. Don't get scared. And let me tell you, this is scary. Don't pay more than $132,000. $132,000 for a watch that has a retail price of $287,650. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be careful with that tariff. I spoke to you guys, the Rolex, the Patek Philippe just put this Monday, a 15% tariff on all their watches. Papi, se van a tener que meter los relojes por el orto. You know what orto is? You know what orto is? Orto. The only watches that's carrying, listen to me, the only watches, I feel powerful, the only watches that's carrying Patek Philippe is 2 models. And you know what they are. Go ahead, put it up there. Make me happy. Show me what they are. There's only 2 watch models they're holding up Patek Philippe. Put it up. You know what it is or no? Put it up. Because I only need one person to put it up there. That's one right there. Nautilus is one. Give me the other one. And I'm going to tell you, tan jodido. The other one is the Aquanaut. Nautilus and the Aquanaut. That's it. The Aquanaut and the Nautilus. The Nautilus and the Aquanaut. The rest, eso es mierda. The rest, I'm sorry to tell you if I'm offending anybody, eso es mierda. Scout Honor, mierda. If you can't get those 2, forget about the rest. Se van a tener que jamar los relojes. They're going to have to eat all the watches. I'm telling you, that's how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this one. This is unbelievable. This watch this one. This is a Patek Philippe Complications Platinum. This is platinum, Papi. Platinum. Chronograph, perpetual calendar, Salmendao. Papi, this is one of those watches that those people will get on their Bentley, on their Ferrari, you know, Ferrari Italia, 458, and from the car, bing, 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 wire, all day, wire. Those same people, the wire, are selling those watches. The people that bought that watch, they had the Ferrari Italia 458, they're now selling that watch. Selling it, and listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 5270, 41 millimeter. Unbelievable, this time machine, you know? It's an unbelievable looking time machine, 5270. Salmon die. Listen to this, David, listen to this. The retail price of this watch is $265,315. Platinum, monster of a watch. You put this watch on with a pair of, Levi short jeans and a t-shirt, and you have it in your hand, and the mommies go by and their panties drop to the floor. I don't want to sound, but it's the truth. La panty pa'l piso, boom, and that watch in your hand. It's an unbelievable watch. You're there standing in the beach, with a pair of Levi jean shorts, a t-shirt that says smile, and you have this in your hand, and the mommies go by you, y la panty pa'l piso. You know, it's unbelievable. You know what I'm trying to say, Damon, you know? But ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. Don't pay for that watch. Does anybody know what I'm going to tell you not to pay for that watch? It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. You're walking with your flip-flops, you know? You're walking with flip-flops and you're there by the beach under a palm tree. You know, you're under a palm tree. Oh, wow, $350,000. Wicked is giving money his away. You're giving all your 401k completely away. Wow, unbelievable. The retail price is $265, $315. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe, don't pay for that watch. Don't pay. The people, the Ferrari is selling it. They want to get rid of it. Get rid of it. Don't pay more than $141,000. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to dare myself to do this to you. Dead. Dead. You do whatever you want with your money. It's your money. Now, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Check this out. We're talking about the Rolex Rose Gold Land Dweller. 40 millimeter. You know, a 40 millimeter. You know, Land Dweller. White dial. You know, with that mesh, you know, that turkey mesh dial, you know where they put the turkey inside the, you know, the net, it has like a turkey, net, inside, the white dial. Unbelievable, that white dial with the turkey net. You know what I'm trying to say, next month and Thanksgiving is unbelievable. The chicken coop, we're gonna call it now the chicken. Yeah, you know what? Damon told me about that. No. It was Mr. Donor that told me the chicken coop. You're right. Chicken coop. You're right, but chicken coop is the word. The chicken coop dial, where you put the, the turkey, the bird in there, Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch, you're not going to believe it. Reference number 127335. Beautiful. Rose gold, pink dial, whatever you want to call it. It's unbelievable. Retail price is $47,400. And ladies and gentlemen, when it came out of the gates, they were asking for this watch $125, $115, $105, $105. Just keep on dropping. 90, you know that? 90,000. Hear me out, boys. Hear me out. Hear me out. You're gonna learn with me. You're gonna learn with me, ladies and gentlemen. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I'm just gonna tell you because I'm like that. Don't pay for that Land Dweller. And I'm not even going to ask you. I'm not even going to, be careful with your bird. I'm not even going to ask you what price I'm going to tell you. Retail is $47,400, correct, Grande? But don't pay for that Land Dweller, rose gold, white down, chicken coop, dial, turkey, net, where they put the turkey. I call it the turkey too, Pay more than $67,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want. The watch market is dead. It's dead. And those prices are there because they can't. There's nothing they can do. They're like saying, what do we do? What do we do? We have purchased this watch among dealer to dealer. Flim flammer to flim flammer. Flim flammer, flim flammer. Flim flammer, flim flammer. Flim flammer, flim flammer. And that's how the watch got there. But the watch is just dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, Bobby. So be careful. Be careful. Be very careful. I'm only telling you what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a Rolex, stainless steel, GMT, oyster bracelet, the one with the green and black ceramic bezel and the black dial. Unbelievable time machine, ladies and gentlemen. A left-handed watch. Reference number 126720, V like in Victor, T as in Tom, N as in no, and R as in run. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but it's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that watch more. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. Don't pay for that watch more than $13,900. This watch, I have taken it down to $13,900 in the last 2 years, like that. And now it's like this. Papi, they're saying I said, Pete, I said 13,900 and Pete said 13,005. I'm telling you what I'm saying. You cannot continue being chupacabras, papi. You cannot. You cannot be in cockroaches. Not while you have me. The day you don't have me, you guys are on your own, David. You know, the day you don't have me no more, Wicked, you're on your own. If you want to hear about, unboxing a watch, getting a strap, and talking about that you're gonna he's giving out a watch for free. You want those channels, you go over there. You learn over there. What do you learn there? Tell me what you learned there. Tell me what you learn about that. Tell me what you learn. Tell me. Come on, somebody tell me. Tell me what you learned. Look at that. Peter's telling me I own it. It sucks. You want those channels? People don't even want to hear them no more. You do whatever you want. But now I'm gonna knock your socks off and blow your hair back. Now I'm gonna knock your socks off and blow your hair back. And I told Sweet Kid Kino, those people are Meshuggahs. Sometimes Rolex gets it wrong. Like sometimes Gucci gets it wrong. You understand me? They get it wrong too. Every once in a while, somebody gets it wrong. Just because they're big, they can get it wrong. And I told you that Rolex was going to get this one wrong because it was just too close for comfort. We're talking about a Rolex GMT, white gold, green dial, black and green ceramic bezel. Unbelievable watch. Unbelievable watch, ladies and gentlemen, with a retail price of $48,400. $48,400, ladies and gentlemen. And I told Sweet Kid Kino, this watch is going to die. Coño, Mr. Donna hit it right in the head. Mr. Donna hit the number I'm going to tell you right in the head. You see that? Every once in a while, a pawn eats a queen in the game of chess. Every once in a while, a pawn eats a queen in the game of chess. And right now, Wicked, he ate a queen. Ready? Ding, 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 ding. He hit it right in the head. Don't pay for that Rolex GMT, white gold, green dial, green and black ceramic bezel. Don't pay more than $43,000. Bobby, that watch is dead. It's dead. It's dead. They don't know what to do. And then you guys have me destroying it. I'm going to destroy it. Because Rolex got it wrong. Even though the Rolex is the king of watches, they get it wrong. You know what I'm saying. They get it wrong. They get it wrong. Look at that. He passed it. Look what Mr. Grande wrote down. You see, you have to know what to pass. You see, Grande passed on a GMT white gold. Green dial, green black ceramic bezel. But if you get a phone call for this, you get a phone call for the Rolex stainless steel Submariner, black dial, black ceramic bezel, no day, you take it. You got money left on the bone in that watch. But that watch is dead. That watch is dead. Thank you very much, Wicked, for supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. It just makes me happy to continue on giving you guys some real truthful content. And I'm very, very excited to hear the price you gave it. Boom. You gave it a ding, 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 ding right in the head. $43,000. He's dead. He's dead, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Yellow Gold Sky Dweller green dial. 42 millimeter. 42 millimeter oyster bracelet. Not the Jubilee. This is an oyster. But ladies and gentlemen, this watch is all the way up. It was all the way up. This Rolex Sky Dweller, 42 millimeter, green dial. And to me, so you guys don't be Meshuggahs, manishma, like hello, manishma. What you're paying for that watch is the green dial, right? So you're getting a green dial with an oyster bracelet. It's not the Jubilee, it's the oyster bracelet. Some people say one day that they like more the oyster bracelet, and some people tell you one day that they like more the Jubilee bracelet. This one is an oyster bracelet, ladies and gentlemen. It's an unbelievable watch. The reference number is the 336938. 336938. I feel like giving you a retail price of this watch. It's $55,000. $55,000. And ladies and gentlemen, to all of you out there that like, this green dial sky dollar, it is a beautiful watch. But be very, very, very careful. Be very careful. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more. Don't pay more than $62,500. I'm telling you, don't pay more than $62,500. Papi, to give up $62,500 in today's time, papi, la situación está jodido. You saw, this is the only thing I got to see while I've been out of the country, what I have seen. You saw what they did over there with the English people, that King guy, the King guy and the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, they got together over there, over there somewhere within the England people, the King, that guy. It's unbelievable, that King, and the guy from Pennsylvania, they got together, and they were all there. They were all doing the shake, the shake hand. You don't know about that kind of stuff? You don't know about that, the way they shake hands, those people over there? Es una jodienda. They're getting everything ready, and things are not right. So you gotta be very careful if you're giving up, $62,500, papi. La situación está jodida. You know what I'm trying to say, Miss Wicked. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Wicked. You said it for me. To shake hands. These people are unbelievable. These people are unbelievable. And I'm gonna tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm that kind of person. Let me tell you, I wanna again. I've been hearing things. Do you really believe that that kid, shot from 250 yards, 200 yards, and hit the target, or was somebody else involved in that? I mean, I sat down and I looked. you Damon. There you go. And set up 100%, hand signals, papi. And so you understand what I'm trying to tell you is that even me, I was hurt, right? And I'm telling you, people, a shot from 250 yards, 200 yards, whatever it is, 2 football fields and a half, and hit the target, Papi, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, man, these motherfroggers, you just, and as soon as this happens, the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, he takes a big plane, he flies over there to see the king, the king over there, and that queen, the queen too, the one he replaced, the one they replaced, the queen. This is unbelievable, what these people do, and it's right in front of your faces, and you say to yourself, pero coño, no podemos seguir siendo lambones. We cannot continue being lambones and palomos, It's right, and the more you see it, you say, okay, is AI involved? Camila, right? Coño, qué mujer más fea. So, that guy, the king, he had that beautiful, Diana, and he switched it over for, el amor es extraño, love is a strange thing, it's not about looks and all that stuff, el amor es brutal, and that guy, that guy over there, the king. But, so when that happens, that guy, that poor gentleman that lost his life, because, that's what they say, that he lost his life. We need for this conversation. We need a lot of. And not so cute. She's not so cute. Not, no, no, no. Dice que el aliento. They say that her bad breath is unbelievable. If your ears are standing straight, they go like that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So they say the guy's wife from Pennsylvania Avenue, she was going like this. Up to these people are unbelievable, but they have the shake. They shake the hand. You know how they shake the hand. Shake the hand. All that good stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm just letting you guys know that the situation out there is strange. Is very strange what's happening, and I'm telling you, I'm happy that I'm not back home, because I have not been injecting myself with a lot of news. Because my mind, I don't know if you guys know that, but my mind is always wondering and thinking, and I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that, and this is why we have all been. I think she's a classy looking lady, in regards what they would think about her, what they say about her. I think she is a very beautiful first lady. I have to say that she is probably the most beautiful first lady any president has brought to the White House. That's just what I think. And listen, I don't care about the red and I don't care about the blue. To me, it's the same shit with a different smell. That's all I got to tell you. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But that thing that happened, it wasn't like that. We'll talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about the Tudor watch. The Tudor watch. Stainless steel. The Flamingo, the 793600024. So you don't make a mistake. The Flamingo, Black Bay, Blue Dial. This price of this watch is $6,050. $6,050. No matter what they keep on telling you, if you're looking to buy this watch, senor, if you want to buy this watch, don't pay for that watch more than $8,300 and dropping. There's no money out there. Wow, Wicked, you're on fire. You're on fire, Wicked. I said 8,300. You're on fire, Papa. You're on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex white gold Daytona Captain America. Rolex Daytona white gold. This is the nephew of the John Mayer. This is the white gold with the blue dial. I call it the Captain America, with the white and red gauges, around the watch. And this watch at one moment was at $85,000, and people were going crazy. They were paying $85,000 for a watch that the retail price is $41,600. And I'm going to tell you this: you do whatever you want, but if you're looking for that watch, you want a full set. Use slider condition material watch. Use slider. It's dropping off a cliff. That Flamingo is dropping off. But this watch too, this Captain America, Daytona, white dial. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean don't pay for that watch more than $36,500. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about a Richard Mille. Richard Mille watches are dead in water. Richard Mille watches are dead in water. You should see the guy over there, from that guy over there, the Iron Sheik, tunic man, he wears the la bata blanca, the white bata, the white dress. I don't know how you call it, the tunic, tunic, white tunic. My mother in the 70s, may she be resting in, in heaven, my mother, she would always wear tunics, my mother, she looked beautiful, my mom. And this man over there, the Iron Sheik tunic man, must have in Richard Mille watches, Papi. He must have in Richard Mille watches man, man, this guy has $1 billion in watches. You know, Iron Sheik Tunic man. You know, over there from Dubai. You know, the people over there from Dubai, and he had this watch, and let me tell you, those people made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars with Richard Mille watches. This Richard Mille is the RM6101, Johann Blake. Johann Blake. I mean, this is unbelievable, Doc. This is unbelievable. This Johann Blake. You know, it's a beautiful watch. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, it has a green trim in the inside the, you know, the face, inside like the dial, yellow and green and white, you know, Johann Blake. And ladies and gentlemen, Bobby, this watch he's crying, Bobby. This tunic man is crying. He's hurt. And this watch, I don't want to tell you what these people were selling these watches for, because they were just making, Bobby. Of course you're gonna be eating a $17,000 steak dinner. You know, when you're making $400,000 on a watch because un lambón from Beverly Hills doesn't care to spend it, you're gonna be eating a $17,000 steak dinner. And this is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that Johann Blake. You know, black ceramic. Don't pay more than $174,000, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want with your money. You do whatever you want. It's your money. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about another heavy hitter watch. It is the Patek Philippe Nautilus, white gold, blue dial, 40 millimeter, reference number 5740. El 5740, tremendo aparato, papi. To me, that is the nastiest watch of the Nautilus. That's it right there. That 5740. Es un reloj exagerado, papi. It's a monster watch. Monster watch. This watch has a retail price and is going up and up and up. And now with the tariff, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Put on top of this retail price, put a 15% and tell me what it goes up to. The retail price is 190. Wow, man, $194,754. 194,754. That is the retail price of that watch. And you're gonna have to add on a 15% to that watch. You know, does anybody know what is it? What would it jump up now with that 15% tariff on that watch? Well, here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that watch. You know, and this watch is gone like this and like this. It's palito. It's called palito. Palito means the watch is palito. Even. Don't pay for that watch more than $196,000 and dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in our Arkansas farmhouse. Watch Mikey dead, ladies and gentlemen. You guys do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak stainless steel 41 millimeter chrono blue dial, reference number 26331. Discontinued watch. Discontinued watch. 26331. Retail price is $36,100. You know, this is the watch that was before the 26240. This is the 26331. You know, 26331. Retail price $36,100. Don't pay for that watch more than $37,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Rolex rose gold blue dial sky dweller 42 millimeter, reference number 336935, with a retail price of $58,300. Rolex, you know, Rolex rose gold blue dial sky dweller, unbelievable time machine, you know, unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna have to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. You do whatever you want. I told you $58,000 and dropping, Mr. Blair. $58,300 is the retail price. And I'm gonna tell you to do yourself a favor. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay. And I feel bad saying this. I want to say less, but I have to say the truth. You know, I gotta say the truth because that's who I am. My integrity brings me here that way, you know, to say the truth. Don't pay for that watch more than $61,000 and dropping. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Now, ladies and gentlemen, check this watch out. Check this out. This is a Rolex white gold Le Mans. Ladies and gentlemen, Rolex white gold Le Mans. You know, collector's choice, collector's dream, you know, collector's grade, collector's unit, or like Franco Fiore says, you know, Franco Fiore, he says collector's grave, you know, like a cemetery, a grave, you know, collector's grave. And ladies and gentlemen, you want this watch, huh? All right. So what do you think I'm going to tell you, Franco Fiore? What's the price I'm going to tell you to pay for that watch? Because you want it. That means you study this watch. How much am I going to tell you not to pay for this watch? The retail price, ladies and gentlemen, so you know what's going on, is $50,000. It's the retail price, you know? So, Vito, let me tell you. Okay, wow. Franco ta? Wow. Okay. All right, Franco. All right. I like that, Papi. I like that. And ladies and gentlemen, they had this watch at $238,000. $227,000. Franco Fiore likes this watch. You know, this is the watch they call you, you know, from your AD. They call you, they tell you you want it because you are a good customer, you know, and you buy it for 50 and you can sell it now for 200,000, you know. What do, man? What do? Franco says he keeps it. He's unbelievable. He's a real collector. He keeps it. But ladies and gentlemen, the reference number is it's a black dial with white gauges. It's an unbelievable time machine. You know, Mr. Blair, this is some, hey, Papi, that's another watch you put in your hand and you look like Mr. You know, Paul Newman, you know. You're Paul Newman. It's unbelievable, that Paul Newman, you know. You put that in your hand. It's un aparato, you know. Panties drop to the floor, you know. They throw their bras at you, you know, the bras, you know, what the woman put, you know, paloseno, you know, for their, you know what I'm trying to say, you know. They throw it at you, you know, here, for you. It's unbelievable. $152,000, Mr. Donut said, you know. And I'm going to tell you because I got to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, no hay dinero. There's no money. It doesn't matter. You can put whatever price you want on a watch. And this is the illusion they do, you guys. It's the illusion. But the real price that they're paying out there is the one that I'm going to tell you. It's the one that I'm going to tell you because I'm stupid like that. Because I'm stupid like that. Don't pay for that Le Mans white gold, black dial, white gauges. Don't pay for that watch more than $187,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. Bobby, not everybody, even people that have money don't have that money no more. Did you understand that? Even people that have money don't have money to pay that no more. Unless you're a hedge fund, you know, a hedge fund, you know, unless you're one of the relatives of, you know, Blackstone, BlackRock, the Bilderbergers, you know, State Street, you know, Vanguard, you know, Knights Templar, you know, the king over there from you know, you know, está cabrón, papi. Esto está, papi, esto está duro, esto no está fácil, papi. Esto está duro. La gente está pidiendo agua por señas. People are asking for water by hand sign. No hay dinero, papi. No hay dinero. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You know? It's the real price. Don't get scared. They know me. Bro, they know me. They say, please, do the crossover and join us. Do the crossover and join us. You know, I'm telling you, and I say no to them. You know why I say no to them? Because I can still buy myself a little watch every once in a while, you know? I can buy myself a watch, so I don't need to. But they want me to do a crossover, man. They want me to do a crossover. And I told them already, even if I do a crossover, my organic watch channel subscribers won't believe a word I say. Because they know that I'm a man of integrity. You know, I'm a man of integrity. You know what integrity means? You don't know what that means? You Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch here. It's the AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold 16202 with the letters B as in boy, A as in apple. When you see letters like that, you know, AP's BA, when you see Rolex letters like TBR, watch out. Watch out. Watch out, you know? Esta gente son el diablo, you know? AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold 16202 extra thin with a smoke dial. I have the pleasure of calling this watch, and Mr. Blair knows the name of it. I call it the James LeBron. You know, that basketball kid, you know, that he's like 50 years old and he's still breaking records. He doesn't want to retire from the NBA because, he signed on blood. He signed on blood. He signed on blood. You know what I'm saying? You saw what happened to Cubeta. You know Cubeta? You don't know who Cubeta is? Cubeta used to play for those people over there, the Lakers, LA. Cubeta. One of the top basketball players. You saw what happened to him. When you sign there, you have unto this day, unto this year. And if you don't know what I mean, that's not my problem. We need smart people here. Smart. You guys are smart. I'm just playing with you guys. But you know what happened to Cubeta. You know who Cubeta is? Kobe Bryant. Okay? Everybody has to do this. If you sign in that club, Coño, Mr. Dona, can you make me talk now? If you sign for fame and rich, they give it to you. Only you have a date that expires. You know what I'm saying, right? Mr. Donut, you know what I'm saying, right? Because people don't know about that. You don't know about that. You know what I'm saying. It's you know. You know what I'm saying? You have a date. You have a date that expires. Like milk expires. Spam. The spam. I don't know if you know this, guys, but when I was a young kid living in the Bronx in New York, my father and my mother were real hard providers, and we used to eat. Listen to how life is. Listen and learn. You 17, they're here. This is something that it's an honor for me to tell you. It's about me, and my father was a hard worker, and he was the only provider in the house. And on a special day of the week, my mother, my mommy dearest, she will make rice and some Puerto Rican beans, and she will make this special meat that we call spam, right? Spam. Am I saying it right? It came like in a little can, and it looked like a you have to spin it around, and the spam will come out, and my mother will cut it, like strips, like the $17,000 steak dinners. But this is spam, and it was a very era comida del pobre, it was food for the it's food for humble people in the Bronx where I grew up, but it was for poor families, it was for poor families, and we ate that, we ate the rice with the beans, and then the meat was the spam. You guys know what spam is? Spam. And you guys should know what spam is, because when I tell you this, it's gonna blow your hair back and knock your socks off. Back then, hey, let me tell you something. I was a free lunch money kid in school. Do you know what free lunch money kid in school means? Do you know what a free lunch money kid is in school? I was one of them. I was a free lunch money, and it's no shame. I'm telling you like it is. It's no lie. It's nothing to hide. And so my mother will make that food for us. The white rice with the beans and the spam, and we will eat that, man. And it was an unbelievable meal. you won't believe this, but I will look for that day of the week that my mother was gonna say, hoy vamos a hacer, today we're gonna do spam con arroz y bichuela. Today we're gonna do rice with beans and spam. And to me, that was like, man, that was unbelievable. And people, some of your friends, they would tell you in elementary school or junior high school, no, because what you guys eat in school, what you guys eat in your house is that canned food spam. It's not even a real steak, you know? And people will make fun of you, you know, that, and you will feel bad. But the moral of the story is, ladies and gentlemen, today, spam is something big, you know? And I was eating spam in 1973, 72, 74 in the Bronx of New York, 2067 Harrison Avenue, Papa, you know? And today is becoming, Papi, you see look what Doc Mike just put down, Doc Mecca, Florida. Papi, to us, it was like the poor man's plate. It was the poor man's plate. How much was that again? What he put down, Mecca, Florida. What price did you put there? Because my wife told me that today, that's very, very pricey. You know, a pricey, you know. A pricey canned dish, you know, whatever. But somebody said a price there that I can't believe it, you know. So just, you know, it's what it is. That was our life in the Bronx, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about the James LeBron. Don't pay for that watch more than $104,000, right? Pay more than $104,000. And ladies and gentlemen, our last watch of this afternoon. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. You know? You know what I'm saying, Damon? You see? You see what I'm saying? And today, Damon, I think Doc Mecca, look, oh my God, and 27 cents in 1980. And spam is not cheap no more. And you know who showed me that? My wife. She says, that's not cheap no more. Now today, all the you know, the, I don't know, you know, the new generation, you know, millennials and all that. That's what they're eating. And you say, what the frog is going on? Spam. I was being made fun in school when I was in 5th grade, 4th grade. Man, because in your house, what you guys eat is white rice with spam and some Puerto Rican, you know, red beans, you know, and you know, you would get a little bit. I didn't care, you know. I was a feisty little frogger, you know. I didn't care, you know. I didn't care. You know, and let me tell you this before I go into this last watch market update, the last watch. I want you to know something that where I learn of integrity and I learn of not taking any handouts. It's from my father. And let me compose myself. My father worked and we never got any government help. No welfare, no supplemental meals, none of that. And so I was taught that and I learned a lot. So, you know, I don't know if you understood what I said, but my father was a badass motherfucker, man. He was the shit. Not because he was my father. It's just that he refused any free handout. He refused it. This is what that man showed me. I told you a lot today. Our last watch is the Tudor stainless steel Miss Piggy 79360N0019 Black Bay. The Miss Piggy, ladies and gentlemen, the Miss Piggy. Retail price is $6,050, 41 millimeter with a pink dial. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $7,800. All right, guys. I want to thank all of you who were here present today in this watch market market. I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart that you guys are here supporting the channel. Just by you guys being here is very, very important. You know, you guys I grew up very, very. See that? I like that, Mike. Well said. You know, so did we. So did we. You know, but we never. My father would. He refused to get any kind of help, any government help. He really did. And so I learned that from me. I learned that from him. He passed it to me, and I was the same way in my house with my children and my family, and I was able to, to come out a little better and easier. But it was all because of him, because of my father. He was the chain, that every generation gets a little better or it can get a little worse. In my case, it got a little better, and he showed me everything, and we were strong Catholics. I mean, I don't want to bring religion into this, but we were strong Catholics, and he had a lot of beliefs. So again, he everything that I've learned in my life is because of my father. I have. Don't pay again. I told you already, the Miss Piggy. You guys, don't pay more than what I told you, right, guys? Again, thank you so much for being here today with me, right, guys? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you get a phone call, yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the well wishes of my new stainless steel Submariner, no date. Thank you so much, guys. Take care and brush your hair. Thank you so much for all your cooperation and for supporting the channel. Stay cool, stay right, stay safe. See you soon back home. How to do that?